Welcome back. The one sector that is outperforming today is the FMCG sector. All the leaders doing exceptionally well. In fact, all the stocks doing well. So the FMCG index comes up for you at the high point of the day. So let's get in a consumer comment itself. We have the management of AkzoNobel joining us. Remember, the company reported their numbers. Top line was relatively muted, but higher gross margins and cost-cutting measures of the company did lead to some margin expansion. We have Rajiv Rajgopal, the MD of the company, joining us on the show. Thanks a lot, Rajiv, for joining in. First up, if you could tell us, how was the volume growth across the fourth quarter in the first couple of months and in March? And in the first quarter that we're in right now, April was a washout. Tell us the volume growth of May and June.
Yeah, so good morning to all of you, and thank you for having me over. As far as the last quarter is concerned, you've seen our revenue growth, and I think that pretty much sort of sums the volume growth performance or the volume decline that we had across our segments. Jan and Feb, we were very optimistic because after the prior quarter we'd seen a decline. We were actually moving back into growth territory. And if you really look at the 10 days of March, the lockdown, and we were pretty stringent about it. And AkzoNobel India believes in leading with integrity, so we really made sure that we do the right thing as far as our employees and our partners are concerned. So yes, the business sort of saw a muted performance. Jan, Feb, across businesses, surprisingly, even our automotive and specialty coating business had actually started seeing a growth, which was a bit of a positive surprise for us. And had March been normal, you can just sort of extrapolate the numbers. We would have had a very strong set of numbers for the quarter. But anyway, I think right now the focus of the team has really been to really shift in terms of the vectors that we sort of look at. We've been focusing in terms of market and customer, cash, cost, and people. Yes, April has been very muted. It was in fact zero because it was a complete lockdown. But we are starting to see a recovery. We are almost seeing in the month of June, at this point of time, closer to about 80% of last year levels, which is very positive. And we are seeing it across businesses. Our decorative business is seeing a faster uptick, largely coming in from smaller towns and markets, where we've actually traditionally not been very strong, but we are seeing some good ingress there across markets. Obviously, the brand Dulux has a higher concentration in the metros and large towns, which is still either under containment or lockdown. And at this point of time, Our first priority is to make sure our employees and all our partners, our channel partners, our distributors working with us, and all our customers are safe. And that's really also been something that I must thank the team for an exemplary work that they have done so far.
Absolutely, Rajiv. Now we take that point, and the biggest positive out of all that you said was that you're already back to around 80% utilization levels, which is a positive. I was looking at the number of dealers. You have increased it from around 15,000 to around 18,000 odd. So what could be the realistic volume growth you're looking at, or volume? Yes, go ahead, sir.
The utilization of the plants is currently at about 50-55. We are sort of slowly trending back towards normalcy, and it's happening in a phased approach across each businesses. Go ahead.
Okay. So how long will you take to go back to these optimum utilization levels, maybe of 80-90% odd? And also, given the fact that you've increased the number of dealers from 15,000 to around 18,000 odd, how does it help in terms of volume numbers? Do you have some kind of targeted numbers that you're looking at?
So we see that it will take a little while, and it will be closer to Diwali by the time we really start seeing numbers coming close, even close to last year levels, and starting to see growth. I think the good part that we've really taken this time during COVID is the parent AkzoNobel has put a pass to the global strategy of 15 by 20, and that's given us a bit of a leeway. And we are working very closely with the global teams to start now moving from a loss-led growth to a growth-led ROS. So I think the first thing, which will be music to most of the employees and shareholder, is that in a very measured manner we'll start now slowly clawing back. Our target is to start getting back some market share that over the years we've lost, and that's something that we are completely alive to, and we as a team are sort of going to start focusing on. Our market shares are different across different segments. So in some of our industrial business, which account for 35% of the portfolio, we are 1, 2, and 3. In the decorative paints, as you are aware, we are the number 4 player. And within that, in the premium, we are actually a number 2 player. So one of the things that we are doing is putting very strong plans, and we've used this, what I call a bit of a hiatus, where all of us were working from home initially. Of course, we've been working now from office for the last month or so, right? To really start putting things back and getting the mojo back as far as AkzoNobel in India is concerned. I see, normalcy coming closer to the Diwali time. I believe that if you look at the incremental cases that are coming every day, I think the first attempt is to make sure our safety of our employees and the people who work with us is still attained. Yeah, and I would think that while I'm pretty optimistic that the recovery will be sooner than what's getting projected widely when I read and sort of listen, but I do think it will be more closer to Diwali when you start really seeing the real uptick that the industry had started seeing in the prior years.
Rajiv, there's rather optimistic commentary coming from you, and that ties in with what Mr. Bharuka had said to us earlier in the morning as well. We had the management of Kansai and Iraq join us. Just a couple of points. You said that you are looking to regain some lost market share. If you could tell us in terms of basis points, how much was it that you lost and how much are you looking to regain? And the second part relates to the metro business. How much of your revenue comes from the metros which are shut? Mr. Bharuka was also saying that, the demand from Delhi, Bangalore, Mumbai, Chennai, as well as Calcutta is in the dumps because of the lockdown.
Yeah, so we've got a little higher market share in some of these metros, but nevertheless, as I mentioned, because of our footprint, which you alluded to earlier, having sort of gone into now pretty much the smaller towns and rural markets, I see a positive coming out of it. In terms of market share, I think it would be suffice to say that, we will start sort of looking at certain segments where, historically, our participation has not been, pretty measured. It's been pretty measured and not been very aggressive. We obviously will start looking at those segments and start putting plans to try and make sure we start resting back. But would like to say that, look, in the decorative paints part, I think Dulux is a fairly strong brand. I think the quality that the brand gives, I think most consumers who use Dulux literally swear by it. And I think that's something that sort of excites us, energizes us as we get in. In our coatings business, if you look at our brands across our marine and protective, our powder coating, we've just launched, in fact, something which is very topical, antibacterial product called BioCoat. We've put a couple of products which are there, and the BioCoat is used for architectural buildings in the powder space. Yeah, and in our automotive and specialty coatings also, we are seeing some pickup with a positive pickup coming from the auto industry. Yeah, and so we are seeing a sort of a mixed bag. As I said, would take a little while. Closer to Diwali is when I start seeing. I genuinely believe that you would start seeing a genuine uptick.
All right, wish you the best, your company, as well as your clients, the best going forward, more so for your shareholders as well, because at 30 times, AkzoNobel is trading cheaper than peers, but at the same time, over the past, we haven't seen the sort of growth that we've seen in other players. So that is important. With that, we wrap up on this edition of Chartbusters. Thank you for watching from Nigel and me and the team. Stay tuned. Trading Hour comes up next.